So, hi, Mike.
Hi, how are you? Thanks
I'm
for
doing
having
great.
me.
How are you doing?
Doing well. Busy season.
Great.
Always is.
Glad to hear it. So my first question for you is could you describe what your typical workday entails, and what your first few years in this career rather have been like?
Yeah, I'll start off with the career thing first. I basically started this as a summer job when I was 17 years old, going to college. So I had no aspirations for doing this, but it was just, like I said, it was a great summer job. I got my college degree in marketing, and it just turned out that the company I was working for had some aspirations for me and some getting into sales and project management and stuff. So I kind of stuck with it and made a 34-year career out of it so far. So now, being a president of my own company for the past 3 years, I basically wear many hats. I start off the morning, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, calling Mother Nature and asking her to be kind to me so we can get some work done. And so I basically start my day when the crews come in, 6:30, 7 o'clock, as an operations manager, getting them all the details that they need for the projects that they're going on. We typically run 4 to 5 crews, and it's a lot of logistics and getting everybody set with the trucks and the equipment they need. And then once they're off and running for the day, then I tend to become a project manager and actually go out in the field and go to some of the sites that we're working on that are a little more trickier, that aren't, day-to-day operation kind of stuff, where I need to be there and manage the guys and make sure that they're, measuring things correctly. They understand the process, and the logistics of the job.
Right.
And then after that, I become my sales manager. I go around, put the sales hat on, and set up some sales calls that are typically in the same area that I might be in. We handle, New York State, Pennsylvania a little bit,
Wow.
Northern New Jersey, the boroughs of Long Island, and a little bit of Connecticut. So I could travel 200 something miles a day.
Wow.
So it gets a little tricky, figuring out my schedule and trying to be, as efficient as I can.
Right. Yeah.
And do some sales calls, meet with people, maybe get back to the office, go back into sales mode, doing proposals, working on getting orders done for new material I might need, deliveries coming. So it's crazy. It can get pretty crazy, usually from, mid-April to the end of October. And then I go back into operations mode at night, and I check the forecast for the next day. I revise my schedule based on what I see for the forecast, get in touch with my crews so they have an idea, because, they travel almost an hour to get to my office every morning. So I want to make sure, because I've been in their shoes, and I think it's only fair that I give them as much notice as possible what they're doing the next day so they can prepare for it. So it can get crazy.
Yeah, sounds about right. Wow. Yeah.
It's fun. I wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't. So
I'd imagine. And what do you spend most of your time doing, would you say? Are you always just constantly switching roles, like you mentioned?
Yeah, constantly switching roles. And a lot of it depends on what phone calls I get. If obviously it's most important to me to, customer service is my main thing. I pride myself on customer service. I undersell and over deliver constantly. And I would prefer to focus on an existing customer, making them happy, before I go and try and sell something else. It doesn't make any sense. You could have a huge backlog of work, but if you can't get the work that you're doing done properly and efficiently and get paid for it, then what's the sense?
Right. Yeah.
So
makes sense to me.
I would recommend to everybody is just focus on what you have and get that done correctly and quality, and then the work will come on its own. So
nice. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good advice. I guess, okay. So my second question for you is, what kind of high school or even college courses have you found to be the most applicable to your job, or the most important?
I would say definitely math courses for me are good, especially for, working out in the field with measurements, just general, geometry, things of that nature. It's surprising how much, things come back to me from high school, trying to figure out angles and this and that. And I would say also communication courses. Right. My grandmother always told me to take a public speaking course, either in college or high school, and don't be afraid to talk to people in public. I think the younger generation doesn't do the eye to eye contact anymore with people, and they're not good at, having a conversation face to face with someone.
Yeah.
So I would say that's a big one. Marketing courses in college, I switched from just general business administration, which I learned a lot about the accounting and all that stuff. So now owning my own business, I don't do all that part of the work. I have an office manager. She handles a lot of it, but at least I need to understand the process of what she's doing and the money control and where things are going. And like I said, marketing for me is a big one because I have to, learn how to sell something properly and have all my sales tools. And, so I would say that's a big one. I'm trying to think if there's a construction management is one I wish I took. I don't, I didn't realize that was actually a course that you could take in college. But I deal with a lot of general contractors, and they have project managers that specifically went to college for that degree. So I wish I had a little bit of that, but I've managed over the years to wing it myself.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So
kind of learn on the fly. Okay. So I wanted to also ask you about any apprenticeships or internships that you found important, or anything you would recommend.
For me, I can't say I've actually done any. I would say me doing the job as a summer job was kind of an apprenticeship for the job I have now, not realizing it. But I've had a lot of other part-time jobs. I delivered furniture for a living. I actually worked for that company in operations, got an opportunity to work for them, for a couple of years while I wasn't doing this, and got back into this. So I worked at a pharmacy in high school, so it's just, I would say any job you take as a young adult. I have two kids, 18 and 22, and I tell them every time, whatever job it is, just do your best at it. Learn time management skills, learn just to be responsible, especially this job. My son works for me, and, he's got to get up at 6 o'clock, comes in and he helps on the line striping crew. And I don't play favorites. I said, you got to get up on your own. I'm not going to drive you in. You got to drive yourself in. So he's learning time management skills because he's off to college next year. And I think it's going to bode well for him, being adaptable, not every boss you're going to like.
Hold on, you just cut out for a hot second. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
You were talking about your son getting up on his own.
Yeah, so teaching my son how to, get up on time by himself. I don't drive him in. He drives himself to work, and he's responsible for getting here and working with the crews. And I don't tend to play favorites, So
makes
just
sense.
teaching him, he's learning to, deal with, adults, because he's the youngest one on the crew. And I have guys that are in their late 20s, 30s, 40s, and it's a good thing for him to be adaptable. Like I said, you're not always gonna love the boss you have, but you have to learn to respect them and kind of put yourself in their shoes, because you never know what their day's like. So, and I would say just perseverance. Whatever job you do, just stick with it. And not every day is going to be great, but that's the world. That's how it is. And
Makes
you have to
sense.
just, stick through it, and you never know. You never know what a part-time job will lead to, and I'm a perfect example of that.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. Tell me about ASBA. What are some of the benefits of belonging?
Oh, ASBA has been a lifesaver for me. I've been a member for 25 years, probably plus, out of my 34 years of doing this. I started as, a young pup, just being green and listening to the older adults in the room that had a lot to say and a lot of advice. And I would just sit there and go to the meetings, and especially in December, our technical show, and just kind of soak it all in and slowly get to meet people and interact. And then they realized that, I had something to say. So they got me more involved, and I've done multiple seminars over the years. I just don't like sitting there listening to other people speak. If I have something to say and I have some advice I could offer, I tend to get involved in seminars, and it teaches me to, just to hone my skills a little bit more, because I'm speaking in front of colleagues that also know what they're doing, and you better have the right thing to say. So
you better know your stuff.
better know your stuff. And I've gotten involved being on their board of directors for probably 7 years, I think.
Oh, wow.
and was their tennis division president for 2 years. So it's been great for me.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot from other people, and I've taught other people other things, and I'm always looking for the new people in the
Mm-hmm.
room and reaching out to them, and just trying to give them some tricks of the trade, because
Mm-hmm.
it's a difficult industry, and the more help you can get from colleagues that go through it. We all kind of call each other on Fridays and kind of just lick our wounds, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
our wives don't want to hear it anymore, so we tend to
Right.
talk to each other and talk ourselves off ledges and stuff. So it's good to have that group of people that understand what you're going through. So
Yeah, it sounds like having a good community is really important. And
yeah,
it sounds like
yeah,
that's what that is for you.
yeah. It's a very unique industry, and we all tend to understand what we're all going through, and we help each other out. And the
Mm-hmm.
people that don't want to join and be part of it, then they've got something to hide.
Yeah.
So that's the way I see it.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yep.
What's the most surprising thing that you've found in your career?
I think the most surprising is more human resource management,
Mm-hmm.
dealing with my employees and their personalities,
Mm-hmm.
and getting customers to understand my concepts of what I want to do, and persuading them to do the right thing and teach my employees and how to get along with each other, how to work well with each other. And that's the skill that I didn't think I needed, but it's one of the most important things, is the human resource. It's almost being a social worker and getting everybody to work, together on the same page,
Mm-hmm.
understand who's better at what, and how to, encourage workers. I never yell at them. I've been in their shoes. I'll point out things that might be, that they're not doing correctly. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a teaching moment. I prefer to do that. Some people say sometimes I'm a little too soft, but I've just learned over the time that, encouraging people, you'll get the most out of them. And every time they do something good, praise their work. And
Mm-hmm.
then, and they'll be more loyal, and these guys will do anything for me. But
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't make them do anything that I never did, at their age, work doing that same job, because I did it from the ground up. So, and
Makes sense.
they understand that, and they know that I might put them in difficult situations, but it's for the good of the company to
Mm.
get the project done. And I wouldn't put them in that situation if I didn't think they could handle it.
And
So,
difficult situations is how you grow anyway. So
yeah. Yep.
yeah.
It's just life in general. I've had anxiety issues growing up younger, and I've
Mm-hmm.
learned to deal with it with this job. I didn't run away
Mm-hmm.
from, I didn't run away from it. I, would take a situation that maybe wasn't ideal, or it happened quick, or a customer that was yelling and irate
Mm-hmm.
about something that just completely blew something out of proportion, or he had a legitimate reason for something,
Mm-hmm.
and you go fix it. You,
Mm-hmm.
you apologize, say you're sorry,
Mm-hmm.
and go make it better. And they prefer that you do that than try and shy away and blame somebody else. That doesn't help anything.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So, but that's
Is
been the biggest thing for me.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Is there any other final last pieces of advice that you'd want to give out to someone who might be
Um,
considering your industry?
it's tough to say, because, like I said, I thought I had a career picked out for me. I was going to be fourth generation of a cutlery business that
Oh, wow.
my great grandfather started, and I just assumed, I had the family loyalty, and I assumed, all right, I was next in line, one of 8 kids, and I showed the most interest. And then my dad basically liquidated the business while I was in the middle of college. So my
Wow.
business degree and this just kind of fell in my lap, but I liked it. I liked what I was doing. It was a summer job, and they liked me. And it just, I've worked for 6 different tennis companies over my career,
Wow.
and, and had the opportunity that other companies wanted to hire me to come work for them. So it was nice. It's a little niche, but I would say for anybody, never assume that a part-time job you have, you're not going to learn anything from. Just take it all in, absorb it, learn, what traits are best for you,
Mhm.
and take them on, and not be afraid of it, because you know, you got to find something, even though it's a stressful job. I love what I do, and it has its, you know, it has its ups and downs. It has its peaks of the season where it's crazy, but then in the wintertime, it works for me. I get my holidays, I go enjoy myself. I get to go skiing. So the balance, I prefer the balance of it. I like I like being busy. It makes me, you know, so I would say for anybody, just pick something that you love and figure it out.
Get busy with it.
And get busy with it. Yep.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Mike. Thank you for joining us, everyone watching.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
I hope you all learned a lot more about ASBA. If you want more information, please visit the ASBA Q Career page to find out how ASBA could help you with your career development. Until next time, have a good week. Goodbye.
Take care.